Up to 70% of chippies could be forced to close this year due to both the rising cost of energy and more expensive raw ingredients. And it's not just chip shops, by the way. Lots of small businesses right now are struggling. Craig Beaumont is from the Federation of Small Businesses. He joins me now. Good evening to you. Many people are saying that the government needs to step up and do more. Why is it the government's job to step up and help organisations who are quite frankly there to create profit for their owners?
That's a clever question. I think if you were to ask small businesses now, and you've got lots of them I know who watch GBNews, but they're facing a real toxic mix of soaring energy bills that are not their fault, out of their control, but also other business costs on top. So coming out from COVID, businesses steeped in debt, only have a few weeks basically of cash reserves to survive. And then suddenly your electricity provider says, we're going to increase. And by the way, this is an average figure, so there's much worse than this. We're going to increase your electricity bill by 349%. That's the average. And if you have gas in your small business, up by 424%. So you're going from a bill of 5,000 to well over 20,000, or a bill of 2,000 to over 8,000. Whatever it is, that's a sudden shock to that business. Now, most businesses, small business owners, you know them, I do them, they're very resilient, but they normally look at their big costs, and it's rent and it's rates are the two big ones. Now, rent and rates, you've now got energy, and energy is beginning, in some cases, to overcome those two. So that puts a whole swathe of businesses out of viability. And that's why we're seeing businesses saying, actually, this is now too tough. I can't absorb this. They've cut everything back that they can. They're reducing their energy use. Small business owners not paying themselves at all in order to make sure they keep funding their brilliant small businesses and their staff. So it's a terrible situation, and they can only do so much to look after themselves. Now, government shouldn't do everything that goes wrong. Just move on to the second part of your question. Absolutely. But there are things it can do. Things like there's a price cap. If there's a price cap for domestic consumers, why can't access be given to that cap to small and micro businesses who are just like ordinary consumers in how they get their energy? They just pick a tariff they're sold. It's not like Boots and these massive companies that can negotiate. So you're getting the state involved in a market that's not working. And I think there's a good case for that now.
But what else then? So you're saying you've provided a practical solution there where you want the price cap of energy to apply to businesses. Anything else you want the government to do?
Well, we've been in to see Nadeem Zahawi at the Treasury, been in to see Number 10 and the staff there presenting these new options for the new government. And they're, at one end, they are business rates relief and fuel duty. There's basically a menu of options. And one thing we are looking at is the possibility of a COVID-style cash grant. Now, that could be at the small end, so it could match the £150 that was sent through council tax to consumers, but that's not going to touch the sides. So maybe you're talking more near the COVID 10 grand stage. Then that's a huge amount of expenditure. So they'll be mapping out options within that. But we are concerned that we lost 400,000 small businesses during COVID, and we could lose the same number again due to electricity bills. And it seems weird that all this money went in for 2 years to keep this sector going, and then you pull it out at the last minute. And I don't think communities will be happier because they lose their small business communities.
And you make a good point there, Craig, because, I'm into businesses. I don't mind admitting I'm a capitalist at heart. I celebrate anyone that's entrepreneurial, has got the courage, etc., to take risks, create their own business. But I do worry a little bit that perhaps we've become a little bit addicted to government support over the last 2 years. Do you think that we're kind of becoming this nation of, instead of capitalist society, entrepreneurial, self-reliant, that we're running to the government to help us too much?
We shouldn't leave this just in the hands of government. I mean, small businesses now need to find ways to kill off their energy use. They've got to find new ways to operate. So is it, if they have a premises, do they actually need one to operate if they can operate off the web? If you're, whatever sector you're in, is there any modernization you can do? Is there any installation you can do? What can you as a small business owner do to reduce your energy bill? So there is absolutely core responsibility there. But also for everyone watching as consumers, when you go and buy your lunch, when you go and buy anything, just think about where you're buying from because you can also help us. You can help small businesses survive. That your local small business has never needed you more than it does now, even more than during COVID. I think a lot of small businesses will be making decisions over the next 4 weeks or so about how they can face the winter, and having more people come to their shop, their restaurant, their bar, their fish and chip shop will actually give them a lot of kind of forward hope, because there will be some guaranteed income that they can look at continuing through into the winter. So go buy your fish and chips.